在我们从建立至今，从0到1，从1到10，从10到100，每一位志愿者的辛勤付出，现在志愿者能这个我们的 Career Up 能够越做越大。然后职场提升俱乐部，我们是秉持正直积极、成长奉献、多元包容的这样一个核心价值观，来组织大家做这个职场方向围绕职场为核心的一系列的活动。那么下面让我们有请Career Up Chair Board 这个 Board Chair 田丽来为大家致辞。
首先非常感谢大家能够来参加今天的活动。我其实也是几年前被这个炮楼的这个 vision 被感染，就是说我觉得我自己踩了很多的坑在职场上，所以我觉得要帮助后面的人，还有我们的下一代，然后我们要突破职场的竹子天花板。我相信，因为相信，所以看见那一天肯定会实现，而且会越来越快的实现。谢谢大家。
好，那我们今天是群贤毕至，上长贤己哈。那我们今天有来了很多贵宾，然后我们今天到场的有Bellevue 的前市长，Bellevue 县 City Council 市议员Carol Lee 来跟我们讲两句。
谢谢各位，很高兴今天是非常一个值得我们这个 celebrate 的东西。第一是这个玩石头 David， 他这个我们对他非常几十年在这里的这个贡献，对我们社会里面，尤其对于技术方面，在 Microsoft 非常成就。他现在要离开我们这里，但是他自己不会离开，还是就是自己。所以非常高兴，他到别人们去，要给别人召集到这里来更好。你看 more well known， 他刚刚我听说这个 CRC cover club， well career up， 我听得非常感动，因为什么道理？我们华人在美国还是有很多时间，我们要 get more influence， 很多 influence， 我们一定要有在这个社区里面的。mainstream community 应该有我们的能力 contribute what we can do。他说的那个 vision 很重要。我们那时候大家很忙，我们刚刚来这里移民的时候，都是忙着做这些事情，为了家庭，为了这个raise the family career。现在我们都是成就，已经是非常难得的。So we need to make sure that we have our right seat at the table. If we're not at the table, we be on the menu. So I really like the vision you have, and we have the opportunity to make those things happen. Before, when you're just trying to make it's hard to realize the vision. So I really want to support that. I'm a good example of most of you. When you mentioned about CIE, 一开始的时候是 Chinese Engineer Club, 1961. I came to work for Boeing in 1962. Electrical engineer from Michigan, come to work for Boeing. So I was at the beginning of the founding of this club. So I was the president, and I founded the chair, the board of the organization. So it provides continuity. So we are able to maintain, and all the people that have done a lot of work and continue to support and continue the mission, the benefit of the organization. And I'm also a good example. I became a politician because I feel, being an engineer is very important because that's the basic of providing the foundation for the strength of a place. But we need to also give our children, especially, opportunity to fulfill their interests. They may not all be interested in science and technology. They may be good in other things, and I think we need to encourage them because they can really do a lot more. So I really am very grateful of the experience I have with the organization and the opportunity that all of you have supported us to go into other fields. And so I really commend you. And finally, I want to say that we can continue to do that by collaboration. By being just doing our own, it's very difficult because this country is a country of multicultural. If you work on your own, isolated, not cooperating with the rest of the people, they're not going to support you because they don't understand. They don't share your common interests. We have common interests. We all want to have a good peaceful world, good for our children, good for the future. So one of the things I've done is I work with a lot of young people, encourage them, give them help, support, and that's what you have been doing as parents. That's the most important things that we do. So I think this is where we can help. I was talking to Donna earlier. She's now semi-retired. I can say that, right? So she's working very hard in bringing cross-cultural people together because we can then be more successful. Then we get more influence because we help them, they help us, and we share in the same success. So I really encourage that. So I've spoken enough. So thank you and best of luck. Thank you. Thank you very much. Looking forward to working with you all. Thanks.
Thanks. 谢谢理事长给我们社区工作的知识指导和建议期待。然后理事长本身也是一代移民过来取得了很多成绩，是我们的榜样。然后我们下一位Jenny Zhang 也是我们 Bellevue City Council 的 member， 然后有请他来给我们最后一个记录。
Yes, thank you. My Chinese name is actually Lo Ho Ting. I was born in Hong Kong and have been in the States a long time. And I want to just be so thankful for CIE because when I first started as a civil engineer 35 years ago for the Weyerhaeuser Company, I wish I would have known about CIE because I believe I was actually one of the few Chinese engineers in a group where the only women were the secretaries. So how many of you have been in the field where you know that as a woman engineer, people walk up to you and they think that you're the secretary? Right? You know what I'm talking about. So I'm just so thankful that I actually through Conrad Lee, connected me to CIE, and I've been involved in the organization now for about 5 years. What it does is it helps us to see that there's more of us that are out in the business than we might see ourselves. So in January, I was promoted at the Port of Seattle to the Director of Engineering, and I believe that I am actually the second woman chief engineer, the first one though of Chinese descent. It matters for people to be able to see that as a woman, you can be successful as an engineer. It only took me 35 years to get there. I hope that for those of you that are starting in your business, it doesn't take you nearly as long. The reality is that sometimes the profession doesn't see Chinese as leaders. So the more that we are able to show up and show that as Chinese Americans, that we actually are the leaders and not just the people that keep our heads down and do the work, the more powerful we will be for our next generation. And I feel the same on the Bellevue City Council. I believe I am the first Chinese woman on the City Council, and Conrad paved the way over 30 years ago to be the only person who's not white on the Bellevue City Council. And as I step forward in this space, it's my re-election year. I hope that voters see that we need to retain engineers who are problem solvers and amazing thoughtful thinkers, systemic in how we approach problems and bring people together so that we can make our cities even better. And my hope is that as I continue to represent the community that looks like us, on the national level as well, again, also following in Conrad's footsteps, I'm the first Chinese, or currently the only Chinese elected on the National League of Cities Board of Directors. We need more of us to be seen there so that our children and the next generation can see that they can be an engineer, they can be an elected official, they can run for Congress, they can represent us in whatever we want to do as Chinese Americans. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you for continuing to have me involved in CIE, and I look forward to even more contributions and recognition of the work that we do. Thank you.
谢谢谢谢。at CIE and Career Up， 我们是一个绝好的地方，让大家锻炼自己的 leadership 的一个地方。 然后我们在座有一位Donna 刘，是微软的 Corporate Vice President， 是我们的一个 leadership 方面的女性杰出榜样，跟我们大家来说两句吧。
Well, I decided to graduate from Microsoft at the end of last year when my kids also graduated from their schools. But I'm still very much involved with Microsoft. I'm currently a consultant and advisor to the CEO of Microsoft Ads and Web Services, and working part-time. So part of my new capacity is to champion culture changes and culture improvements in the workplace. So I'm currently responsible for a few initiatives. One is to create a more inclusive environment. The other one is to raise cultural awareness in a global team, because we have branch offices at many locations around the world, and we need to make sure that people can understand the cultural backgrounds of the different teams, and really make an effort to understand one another and work together. So what I heard the other people saying just before myself, it really inspired me. I had a very similar experience working. When I started in Microsoft, I was one of 2 female software design engineers in the division, and there were hundreds of people in the division. So I looked around me, there were not many people that looked like me. And I wish we had an organization like a Career Up at that point, and I will be able to really benefit from all the advice that the community can give me. So over the many years, fortunately, I learned from my coworkers, and I learned from other people around me. I met XD at a bench program. It's called Power Lab, and we had a simulation of the society with like 3 tiers. The top tier is called the elite, and then we have the middle, and then the immigrants. So I was part of the middle, and the XD was part of the immigrants. And it was very much, it was a simulation, but I put a lot of emotion into that. And I kind of felt the pain of the immigrants. And the XD was really innovative. So in the end, the immigrants really thrived. And I felt, geez, if only we have many more innovative